Must be an exciting feeling.
It's a nervous feeling. It's like that feeling like, hey, I've got something to tell you. What? You're like, shit.
Man.
We'll be focusing on the North Harbor map, the Creel North Harbor map, where we left off. Today, we've gathered for another bout of 13th Age. Sheep kindly volunteered to do the recap last time, and of course, Gryph missed last week's session, so I'm looking at the rest of you. Any volunteers, or shall I roll a d3? Okay. 1 is Dark, 2 is Goger, and 3 is Manaki. Goger, recap us.
Shit. Alright, let's see, where did we start? Right, we started deep in the bowels of Creel, where we were just going down to face the abhorrent demon. And we started with Dark's character, Leon, falling down some stairs, covered in some goop or something that made him slip. And he stumbled in the room where Creel sat upon his throne and laughed at him, basically. And he gave us a choice that we could basically just leave, and there would be no repercussions. Did he also give us another option?
He gave you several options.
Yeah, I don't really remember. It's been a hectic week. Does anyone else remember?
Well, he gave us an option to either give over Tempus,
Yep.
to be the new treasure of the dungeon, so people would come try to reclaim him, or
The dwarves, no joke.
yeah, we could fight the gauntlet, the impossible gauntlet.
Yeah, the duel, right.
Or we could have a duel with his, what's it called?
The
big
price
scare
of
price of
failure.
failure.
You remember
Yeah,
the
the price of
giant
price
snowman-looking
of failure.
thing in the puzzle room, Gryph?
Mm-hmm.
That was down there next to Creel.
One of us could duel that guy. Well, one of the new guys could duel him one-on-one, and if they won,
Yeah, with his dual initiative.
he would agree to go back or send the island of Creel back. But some of the party members weren't really happy with this because they wanted him dead because his place spawned chaos beasts who killed a lot of people. So.
Yeah, and he was moving closer to the mainland and showed no sign of stopping, and yeah. So we decided to fight him, basically. And this went not too well.
And amazing, just as well as expected, I say.
Yeah. So in the midst of the battle, or rather in the later phase of the battle, Leon decided to teleport, which violated the rules of Creel's dungeon. And so a monster, basically, spawned behind him and started to attack him. And this led to Leon dying down there in the depths of Creel.
I will also tell you, I was punched 3 times by Aurelia.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Aurelia got confused, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, 3 times and punched Leon, basically dealing over 80 damage to him or something. I don't remember how much exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that didn't go too well. After that, we entered a room behind the throne where we found a huge gem of some kind that was basically the heart of the dungeon, along with some strung up people on the walls who were missing limbs and were in sort of in a state between being alive and dead, basically. And Dwohurim decided that we should save as many as we could, which he did with a healing ritual. And after that, we destroyed this gem and left the dungeon. After that, we headed north again, back to the boat, and when we got there was no one on the boat. They were all gone. But we did find the Death Speaker sort of hanging off by a rope over here. Because the cat was sort of sitting there and yowling, telling us to go over there. And so we got him up and asked him what was going on. Then he told us that the boat got attacked by some creatures and everyone scattered, I believe. And yes, we got a level up. Then Dwohurim and the Death Speaker decided to go look for these people, and Geráck and Aurelia stayed behind to guard the boat. And they got attacked by these two things here that they knocked out, basically, and didn't kill, so we could sell them to this person in Newport who wanted such creatures for some reason. Dwohurim and Death Speaker, meanwhile, ventured onto the island and found two of the sailors being chased by some other of these Horax. They just basically ran past them and continued running to the boat. I think they said something about the Death Speaker as well, I don't remember. Anyway, Dwohurim and the Death Speaker proceeded to fight these creatures, and but the Death Speaker did sort of get badly injured, and then his head exploded, revealing a intellect devourer, which we have seen before. And Dwohurim and this intellect devourer sort of entered into combat, and I don't really know what happened after this, because I kind of fell asleep at that point. I was insanely tired. I know that they talked for a bit, and that the intellect devourer is now inside Dwohurim's head.
We don't know that.
I think
Something
that's,
is
that's...
inside Dwohurim's head.
Yes.
Yep.
Metagame-wise, that is a known thing. But
In character-wise, it's not.
no character has seen that transpire. Okay. Right. And I do believe, just for confirmation, that it's Dwohurim that's holding the cube of Tempus. I think. All right. Well, we begin on the late morning of readying 19th. Aurelia and Geráck watch over the northern shores of Creel. The two giant beetle things you've captured are twitching unconsciously in their cages, but they're better off than the slowly decomposing sorcerer. Your bodies are weighed down by fatigue. You've been awake for long past a day. Dwohurim and the Death Speaker left you over 2 hours ago to go searching for scattered sailors. Now, Sheep, Goger, your characters are longtime allies. Is there anything you'd like to do or say to each other? Roleplay you may not have handled between sessions? Or any questions for God? Your question, Sheep, yes. You did level up to level 6, and you will be getting a full heal up, like, not right at this moment, but before any meaningful, like, circumstance takes place.
Okay.
It'd be hard for me to say, and now, as you've been awake for over a day, 28 hours, you've got, like, a full heal up.
Let's just
Suddenly
tank
an
off.
angel appears, just goes woo.
We can do this.
Ah. It's not so bad. Look at Leon's dead body, not so bad.
I don't think that Aurelia would have anything to say to Geráck at this exact moment, since the happenings are still in the very recent past. It does feel like a time of silence, rather.
Yeah, it does, really. Yeah, there's not really much to say.
Okay. Dwohurim, this return trek goes beyond any reasonable definition of inconvenient. Darius and Buford, the two sailors flanking you, have taken every ounce of your considerable intellect and will to handle. First, you had to catch them. Then, you needed to calm them. You then had to convince them to follow you back to the ship. They thought the vessel was haunted, but when you reminded them of the Horax flitting across the sands, they decided to take their chances with you. They're dragging their feet after you, shoulders slumped, thoroughly exhausted, but as maybe you're, the ship's firmly on the horizon, perhaps a 10-minute so walk away, you hear you feel like a little tug on your backpack, and a soft thudding sound on the ground as Tempus's cube rolls out onto the grass.
Would these two have been okay with carrying the Death Speaker? Would Durham have to do that himself?
If you had wanted it, they would have, but it's really taking the last of their strength reserve to like carry the Death Speaker's body too. They look worse off than you do,
Well,
but it can be done.
good. Can't just leave him there.
You go ahead and grab Tempus as he just sort of like, boop.
Thud.
Durham, I don't think, has ever had this happen before, so he's slightly startled, but too tired to really make a big deal out of it, as he just turns and looks, just immediately telling the two sailors to relax.
They begin freaking out. They drop the body of the Death Speaker, and they almost begin trying to run away again.
I suppose what greets Tempest is then two very tired, bloodied sailors and a Death Speaker's body where the head seems to have exploded from the neck. And then Dwohurim also splattered in blood with incredibly sort of those eyes you could only have if you've been up for way too many days in a row and seen things that you were never meant to see. Looking at him.
Tempest looks like he's going to make a smarmy response. Decides against it.
I've missed you, Tempest.
Seems as he watches one of the sailors kind of try to shamble away. Then looks down at the headless or exploded head of the Death Speaker. And then up to Dwohurim.
Would you mind helping me carry him? I don't think Darius and Buford can walk much further, so.
Tempest, runs a hand over the side of his head. Clicks his jaw into place. I just bends down to lift up the headless corpse of the Death Speaker.
Okay.
And walks without saying too much, seeming very tired.
All right.
Tempest just sort of stands for a moment, with the Death Speaker over one of his shoulders, just sort of watching Dwohurim and the sailors probably shambling away.
You can
Just-
ask questions while we walk.
Yeah, Tempest is more letting things digest for a moment.
In that case, perhaps by the time Tempest finishes digesting, they make it onto the beachfront proper.
Tempest will follow after about 15-20 seconds. It's just more the shock of all of this.
Right, yeah. As a reminder, this is the northern shore, where you have parked the boat over there yonder. Lots of sign of struggle and footprints all across the sand. This was the remnants of a campfire, a little campsite that the sailors had made with their small bedrolls and what have you that they had strewn about here. The sand is fairly coated with blood around the campsite. Aurelia and Geráck, you're doing such an amazing job of keeping watch, and really those exhausted people aren't doing an amazing job of being stealthy, so you can basically see each other at your faraway distance with Aurelia and Geráck aboard the ship, and the shambling group of Dwohurim, Buford, Darius, and Tempus carrying the body of the Death Speaker.
Seems like Tempus is back.
Seems like the Death Speaker is missing.
Oh yeah.
Probably ran away again, didn't he?
I don't know well enough. Maybe.
Then a moment later, Aurelia actually spots the body. Frowns sadly. Stays with Leon's cat, trying to pet her, although she is probably trying to get away.
So, I've missed a lot then.
Yes, you have.
How long ago did this happen? As Tempest sort of points at the legs.
Tempus has been a cube for less than 12 hours.
I want to say I don't know. It was a battle, Tempest, like we've never seen before. I said that we should talk and do it peacefully, but the others wouldn't have it. They decided that fighting was the best option, and I agreed to it. It says the Death Speaker is not the only casualty.
Tempest's eyebrow really sharply jerks up. Garrett? No, I can see him. I can see.
They're tiredly walking. Leaning heavily on his wooden staff. Looking at the others with heavy eyes, trying to spot them.
Darius and Buford are doing their best to steer clear of the campsite.
Geráck just nods as they approach.
Tempest will walk up, look at the bloodstains around the campfire.
We'll talk on the boat, I think. Sort of goes in. Looking at the others, looking for like a some sort of something to slump down upon. So it goes left, find like a coil of ropes or something.
Sure.
Just slump down on the deck, sort of looking exhausted.
Yeah. Geráck then looks to the corpse of the deck speaker and turns to him. What happened?
We were attacked. So it looks to the two people. They were attacked. We intervened.
Darius will say, those fucking beetle things, they just soared through the damn air, their fucking antennae. I saw them scoop out with... and like he starts like beginning to like blubber and like break down.
Grim sort of gestures to the eyes, his eyes.
Tempest.
They eat eyeballs.
Huh.
They attacked us here as well, however, we managed.
We're trying to defend the sailors.
I saw Mule's eyes get scooped right out of his head.
Let's just leave this damn island.
Come on the boat. We need to rest somewhere. He looks up and says, he looks at the desk speaker and says, it's more than just the eyeball eating. He sort of looks to the two sailors and says, I'll explain later, I think.
They're both cringing a little, seeing, that body, and then that body, and then those two unconscious motherfuckers really set them off.
We also have like 3 people.
Yes. Four limbless people. Mm-hmm. Just stabilized torsos and heads.
Like, yeah.
Quite the collection.
I do think it is time to go back to Newport and get thoroughly drunk.
Yes,
Buford will mumble. Well, we should be able to set off with all of you hands. The ship will be undermanned, but I think Darius and I can at least direct you well enough that we'll be able to reach Newport before nightfall, hopefully by evening. Depends a bit on whether the wind cooperates.
It'll have to do.
Buford and Darius will begin to go through the tired motions and begin directing you folks on how to prepare the ship for disembarking and sailing in the choppy waters of the Midland Sea.
Oh, I hate sailing.
We're not going to rest here for any more moments at all. We need to get off this island.
Yes, let's leave.
I've wanted nothing more than since I came here.
Okay. The trip will take maximum amount of time, 6 hours.
We're dead.
It is not a matter of skill. That is certainly possessed by Buford and Darius, but manpower. There simply aren't enough trained hands. Your trip is arduous, but at least it lacks tedium, because everyone's hands are needed to sail this vessel. The choppy seas make for rough travel, but at least the wind is strong and somewhat favorable once you turn the ship south. Eventually, with your muscles sore and tense from unfamiliar work, you reach the illustrious City of Opportunity, its golden glow illuminating the entire horizon. It is evening, perhaps like 6-ish p.m. by this point. The harbor is not as busy as it has been in months past. Perhaps a consequence of the increased dangers in sea travel. You note increased guard activity along the docks, and you don't think, even in your exhausted states, you'll be able to escape an encounter with Newport Customs. Any strategy or discussion you'd like to do before you reach a pier?
So,
I'm tempted to say just fuck them. They want to make us troll. We've had a bad day, and they will suffer for it.
we should just, like, well, give the limbless people to them.
Perhaps send for Lord Teraptus so he can come and make sure that we won't have any troubles with customs of all things. We would have to talk to him regardless.
Yes, but probably after a good night's rest, I would hope.
He might have new information, however.
Which will be just as good after a night's rest. We won't be doing anything else today, I hope.
We do need to bury the fallen.
Yes, that's also an issue.
That's something that can't wait.
Yeah, Dwohurim is tired. He's okay with just sailing into the harbor, taking his stuff, having some people carry Leona and the desk speaker and their things, and then just going to the Arcane College.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything illegal on the boat. So if they want to search it, that's fine by me.
Well, Buford will note that this is a ship full of blood and caged monsters, and it's not exactly approved of to just haul unconscious monsters like giant beetles into the city limits. You are going to have an encounter with customs.
Sure.
Silly question. With Leon there, do we really have the contact where we can cash those in?
I think he'd accept them regardless, wouldn't he?
He would still want them, yes.
Okay. Okay. Buford and Darius guide the ship, the tired ship with tired people, into harbor. And sure enough, the dock that is rather alive with increased guard activity, like, because there's fewer ships now, there's more guards to spare in these situations, end up approaching the vessel. A total of 6 of Newport's finest, led by a rather portly and foppish-looking man, who it doesn't really look like he's seen a hard day of combat in his life. Most likely the customs agent, who is happy to identify himself as such. Yes, hello, I am Marius. Welcome to New... He, like, steps on board the ship. Looking like his eyes widen.
Dwohurim will front him, if need be. We need to speak to Lord Raptors immediately.
Lord Tarap, they do have... What is the meaning of all this?
As we come from the island of Creel, where we have just slain the living dungeon there. We are very tired, and we know that you're just doing your jobs. But perhaps we could do this when everything is a bit more orderly.
Manaki, why don't you go ahead and make me a charisma-based skill check as you attempt to convince the customs agent?
Alright. Well, this would be a chance where I use backgrounds.
Yes,
So,
it sure would be.
with my skills at with my skills from Shadowport, I know enough about making it seem reasonable that the law and the guards should perhaps just give me a bit of room. Let me, let's. I'm willing to work with them, but let's put it off a little bit.
Sure. You can use your full background for that,
All right.
along with your level and charisma modifier. Looking
Let's
for a
see here.
DC of 20. The customs agent appears to be overwhelmed by his reason and says, "Yes, Lord Taraptis, you're Dwohurim Harsca, yes?
Yes, I am.
It's a pleasure, sir." The foppish man takes off his hat and does an awkward bow at you. We were told to look out for you. What can we do for you?
He looks and says, "We need medical care for," he looks and says, "at least 6 people. The 2 sailors here, and then we have 4 more who are almost catatonic."
The man blinks, looking over the injuries. You see him blanch and cringe, it making him queasy. Yes, you can leave those with us. We'll see to them.
We have 2 dead people who will be taking care of them as well. Ourselves. Then we have specimens that we were asked to capture. We'll be taking care of them too. They can be a bit feisty. Sort of looks to Jasmine and says don't look too closely. But if you're curious as to why, we don't want you to have to handle them.
The man shakes his head. No, please. You're clear. No charge. Just you stay safe. And basically, customs leaves you the fuck alone, and you're free to leave the boat.
Good.
The guards, help will be called for. The guards turned various shades of green and white as well as they look over the injuries.
We'll have Buford and Darius taken care of, and then the limbless people.
Buford and Darius do make some minor complaints that they would like to head for the Arcane College to get their payment, but they suppose that they can wait until after they're treated.
I don't think we're going to cheat them out of a pay for this one.
No. Lord Taraptis is